a new head coach is needed. I just think that maybe Billy Donovan, his time has run its course.
I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily a coaching thing. I don't know if it's necessarily a Russell Westbrook thing. I think that any team in the NBA would love to have Russell Westbrook on their squad.
Of course.
I do think when you have that type of player, though, his other teammates have to have a mentality and have to have an understanding more of what they're getting. They're getting a guy that's go 110% every game, full speed every game. There's no slowdown. There's no nothing. And it was funny because I was going through some stuff and I can't remember who said it, but they said Russell Westbrook has Ben Simmons' jump shot with Steph Curry's confidence in it. And it just made me die laughing inside.
Wow.
And it's so funny because
that's fantastic.
It wasn't that long ago that Russell Westbrook was one of the better shooters. Like he was a great shooter. I mean, he was knocking them down all the time. Big shots too.
Yeah.
And not that Westbrook really was terrible, but I mean, he just wasn't. It wasn't enough to get him over the hump, obviously. But having Paul George, Ferguson's another young guy there that I really like.
Yeah, he missed the whole season. Yeah, he missed the whole season.
So, I mean, it's just I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's just the players not understanding how to play along Russell Westbrook, which is crazy. Because I mean, he distributes the ball. He does everything.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think he kind of fell back this season and let Paul George take the reins.
He did. Yeah. I mean, he did everything he could. And I was reading an interview with him, and he was like, "What do you want me to do? They call me, they call me a ball hog or whatever. So I step back and I let him do it. Now all of a sudden, now it's shooting. So now I'm a terrible shooter." He goes, "Next year I'll improve on that. I'll get in the gym. I'll work harder. Next year I'll shoot better." Like, what do you want me to do? He goes, "I am who I am, and I am who I. You know who I am. And it was kind of cool the way he said it. And I know a lot of people kind of. They all have this feeling about Westbrook and how his attitude and what he brings to the game and everything. But I saw Paul George, come to his defense and say, "Look, I knew what I was getting into when I came here, and I came to here because I want to play with him." And that's what everybody's trying to do. Everybody's trying to put a gap between him and George, or they were talking about, when Harden and Durant were there and everybody decided to leave because they knew, somebody said Durant knew he wouldn't ever win anything playing with Westbrook. It's just stuff to feed into what the media and all them are trying to hype and be, make a story out of something. I mean, that's just the NBA. But just to talk about Russell Westbrook, not to really kind of go off a tangent, but I mean, you're talking about a guy all-time triple-double in the playoffs. You got Magic Johnson with 30. You got Russell Westbrook with 10. Rondo's got 10, Larry Bird 10, Jason Kidd 11, and LeBron James has 23. I mean, that's the kind of guy you're getting. But Russ just hasn't really, in the playoffs wise, he hasn't had the success without Durant.
Oh, absolutely.
You and I were talking before, and I saw this stuff, and definitely got to bring it up. You're talking about 2010 to 2016 in the playoffs. Russell Westbrook, 47 and 35, averaged 25 points a game, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 42%. All good and all. Since Kevin Durant left, so that'd be 2017.
Yep.
So 2017, 2019, 4 and 12. 4 and 12 in the playoffs. Right. His points went up. He's averaging 30 points. Rebounds went up. He's averaging 11 rebounds. Assists went up. He's averaging a triple-double pretty much in the playoffs since he left. But the thing is that at the end of the day, it's a team win or lose, and he's going to do everything he can to help the team win or lose. But sometimes I feel like he's too aggressive, or he lets his emotions control him too much.
Oh, yeah, he had a little Draymond Green in him.
Right, and you'll see that, too. Yeah. He doesn't get a call, then he'll come up and he'll play like real close defense and like foul somebody real hard, or just do something stupid, and then they might be shooting free throws or something like that, so they'll get a couple extra free throws. But at the end of the day, like I said when I started, there's not a team in this league that would not want Russell Westbrook on their team, and he's just one of those guys. You love him. You love him. You hate him. You love him for what he does, and you hate him for what he does at the same time because you feel like he does too much.
That's why I would say that. My last thought when it comes to the Oklahoma City Thunder and what happened to them in the playoffs this year, I just wonder if the Paul George injury how bad was it? Because I think a healthy Paul George gives them another game. Not take away anything from Portland because Portland played outstanding. That's a team that also eliminated in the first round last year by the New Orleans Pelicans. A lot of high hopes. A lot of people saw Portland's record this season and thought, yeah, whatever. They'll just get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. That's a real nice story they got going on there in Portland. They showed a lot more than that story. Again, like I was talking about people for the first time watching Denver Nuggets, a lot of people was their first time seeing CJ McCollum and how good that kid is as far as shooting, creating his own shot, and also the team. All those guys, and what I love about the Portland Trailblazers is everybody knows their role. There's nobody who ever tries to do something that's out of their zone. Everybody knows if I'm there to rebound and play tough defense, I'm going to rebound and play tough defense. If I'm there to be a spark off the bench, I'll be a spark off the bench. If you're going to be a lockdown defender, that's what you do. There's no gray area. And they've been together for so long, which is also rare in the NBA. A lot of those guys in that Blazers team, it's their second or third year together. So it shows. So it was definitely cool to see that team win. And the way they won, the Dame Lillard game-winning three from 40 feet out was just insane to see, man. Insane to see. So that's our Western Conference first-round series. As now we go to the semifinals in the West, you're going to have Portland against Denver, and then Golden State will be taking on Houston in a rematch. They're going to run that back. And I say it all the time. The game's on right now, so I'm going to say it again. Please, basketball gods, look over my man Chris Paul. I'm just tired of the excuses. I want a healthy Chris Paul going up against the Golden State Warriors. So if by some chance they do lose again to the Warriors, at least you have all the bullets in your holster. Right now, just a quick update. That game's in the third quarter, and it is 65-61. Golden State's winning right now in that game. A close contest, as we thought was going to be. So let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about the second round matchups, Pat. We had the Milwaukee Bucks kick things off today against the Boston Celtics at home. Expect that to be a very competitive and great matchup. And what we saw the Celtics, in my opinion, just bully Milwaukee to a 112-90 road victory to take a 1-game-to-none lead in that series.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned it earlier, playoff Kyrie. I mean, that guy's just putting the team on his back the way he's playing. But you had Kyrie with 26, Al Horford with 20, Jaylen Brown with 19. You get Jaylen Brown with 19. I mean, that's big. That's you know what you're going to get from Kyrie. You know you're probably going to get 15 to 20 from Tatum. But to get Brown in there with 19, to get Horford actually stepping up and scoring in the playoffs as well. And Kyrie had 11 assists too. So Kyrie was dishing the ball out, and that's how that team wins. Obviously, I'm hoping and I expect the Bucks to win. I picked the Bucks from the very beginning. But this series, hey, it's going to be close. We talked about in the very beginning of the year that Boston was the best team in the Eastern Conference. We expect them to be the number one overall seed. They didn't play that way in the regular season. They went back and forth, but they're back to playing that way, So it's going to be fun to watch and see what happens. But Gordon Hayward also had a pretty decent game as well, and that's the main reason they brought him in here, to do just that, to be a complement role to Kyrie, to help along with Jaylen Brown, to help along Tatum and stuff like that. So Boston's not going to be an easy out for the Bucks, but I definitely think that they'll make it.
Yeah, with this first game, you are dead on with that. I'd say Hayward and Rozier, double digits off the bench. Both those guys were definitely big time. Kyrie was Kyrie. Al Horford just showed Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're not going to come in the paint. You're not going to just bully around. We're going to bully you. I mean, today was my first time seeing Giannis have issues getting to the basket. He couldn't just get the ball and go to the rim whenever he wanted to. Those are grown, nasty men in the paint waiting for him, wearing black Celtics jerseys. And whether it was a block, knocking them down, keep just knocking them off of the spot, they made things very difficult for Giannis. And I would expect the Milwaukee Bucks to bounce back. I mean, the Celtics shot really, really well this game. I mean, they scored 36 points in the third quarter alone. You got to think that you'll make adjustments. Coach Bud's one of the best coaches, one of the better coaches in the NBA. He'll make some adjustments, and I guess you made your pick, so you're picking the Boston Celtics or the Bucks?
No. I'm picking the Bucks, and obviously one of the main reasons why you talked about a minute, but for a second. But man, the Celtics shot 54%. The Bucks shot 35% from the field. That's not going to happen with that team. They knocked down three-pointers. They're leading. They're one of the top teams right now in the playoffs this year for three-pointers. I mean, it's just. That's not going to happen. So, but yes, I did pick the Bucks. I'm still sticking with my pick. I still think Giannis and Bledsoe, Middleton. I still think they're going to be enough because I don't think the Celtics can be consistently enough with. I don't think Brown, like you said, Brown, Rozier. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it enough. I think Giannis's defense, and I think that the Bucks are going to run them out.
I'm treating this like a stock, and I feel like the Boston Celtics stock is rising. They're playing better basketball, so I'm picking the Boston Celtics to win this series. So yeah. Even though I got Giannis as the MVP, just based on what I see, Hayward's getting better game after game. Tatum didn't have a good game at all today. I think he was like 2 for 9 or something like that. So Jaylen Brown stepped up and made the points you're used to getting from Jason Tatum. If you get both of those guys to come and give you maximum effort, along with Rozier, I like Boston's chances. So you're picking Milwaukee to win this series. I am picking the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
Game 1 in the second round of the Eastern Conference saw the Toronto Raptors with their favorite fan, Drake, in the front row, take on the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday. And man, this game at certain points was a one-way trip to beat down City. You had the Toronto Raptors winning this game, 45 points, Kawhi Leonard. And the only other player to score double figures for Toronto was Pascal Siakam, but it wasn't even necessary. I mean, they had no answer for Kawhi Leonard. That's the Kawhi I remember seeing in that game for San Antonio before Zaza made the cheap shot and hurt his ankle and took him out for that series. Just really, really a strong game. One of the better defenders in the NBA, I think you would agree with me, Pat, is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy might have to watch tape because he had no answers for Kawhi Leonard at all yesterday. He could have scored more than 45 points, but Nick Nurse called the dogs off and got him out there early in the fourth quarter. Since we're making picks, I am picking Toronto to win this series.
Oh, yeah. Toronto, Kawhi Leonard's enough to get him over the hump on his own. But, Siakam really stepping up makes a big, big, big difference for that team.
Kyle Lowry even.
Kyle Lowry, to me, is still Kyle Lowry, playoff Kyle Lowry. I got to see more from him. I'm not putting the guy down.
I respect that.
The guy is an all-star. The guy is a great NBA player, but for whatever reason, and he did have a couple of games in the previous series where he did step up on 2 points, but I don't know what it is, but playoffs, he just hasn't been able to prove that he's a consistent superstar in the playoffs. But you talk about this game, man. You're talking about Philadelphia shooting 39% from the field to the Raptors shooting 52%. I mean, that 1 + 1 is not. The math just doesn't work, and you can't shoot that bad.
Yeah, real quick.
I'm not saying that they shot that bad. I think Toronto just played defense that well, and I think that's what you were saying. I mean, they just stepped up. They came out. They played them on the 3-point line, so they didn't let them, score that way. But overall, I mean, Toronto just beat them down. Like, they just didn't have anything.
And to kind of echo your point, too, I mean, J.J. Redick, 6 for 13. Jimmy Butler, 4 for 12. Joel Embiid, 5 for 18. Joel Embiid's 7 feet tall and didn't even have double-digit rebounds yesterday that game against Toronto, which kind of shows you how that game went and what things are for them. I mean, J.J. Redick is a big part of that team. He was 5 for 12 from three-point range. I mean, the fact that J.J. Redick takes 12 threes, we could talk about that. It's a new age NBA. Steph Curry can do that in a quarter. But to only hit 5 of them, you just got to have a lot better shooting performance from the Philadelphia 76ers to want to make this series competitive.
Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't a very good formula for the 76ers to win. I mean, like you said, Tobias Harris with 14 points, did have 15 rebounds along with it, but you need more than 16 and 8 from Embiid. You need more than that. I mean, he said in the last series, when the whole thing went down with Dudley, he goes, "I walked away because I know how important I am to my team," and he was 100% correct saying it, but you got to do better than that. You got to have 25 and 10 from Embiid on any given night if you're going to beat the Toronto Raptors, who are one of the best teams easily in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, definitely needs to make some adjustments. If I'm a coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, you got to hope that the shooting gets better. Figure out getting help for Jimmy Butler. I mean, clearly he can't take Kawhi Leonard one-on-one. I'm not too many sure if there's too many players in the NBA that could anyway take Kawhi Leonard on one-on-one on defense. So if you're going to bring a double team, if you're going to bring that help and force the ball out of Kawhi Leonard's hands, you got to come faster and earlier with that. I'm sure that's something that'll be adjusted for them. So just a real quick recap of the East. Who are you picking? Toronto?
Yes.
So me and Pat both have the Raptors winning this series, and we're split between Milwaukee and Boston. He's going Milwaukee. I'm